Test. Good evening, good evening. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Creole, one half of Untwisting the Game Crypto, where we discuss all things Bitcoin, Polkadot, and Cardano. Here we teach you how to understand and untwist the complexity of the crypto market. And today, I'll be reviewing a featured article posted on CoinMonks by OX Jim, a crypto investor and product manager building on Ethereum. Now, this article will provide a vision into the composability limitations of Ethereum Layer 2 solutions, and I'll briefly review the different types and categories of Layer 2 solutions on top of the Ethereum network. And we'll get started. Let me go to the chat right quick. Passive Income says, let's go. What's up, Dr. Crypto? I see you in the chat. Thanks for joining. Michael Swain. Michael, how you doing, man? Let's go, Ada. From Hodl Passive Income says, Ada. All right. How are you feeling out there? Cardano has been in the news. Smart contracts deployed last Sunday. Solana has been in the news. Solana completely shut down for 7 hours. Oh my gosh, can you imagine if that was Cardano? But let's go ahead and jump into the article right quick. Again, Layer 2 Solutions. The article is entitled Layer 2 Won't Save Ethereum. What no one's talking about, the unanswered problems with Layer 2 scaling solutions. And a lot of people really don't understand what this article is going to lay out. This is why on this channel we tell you to focus on Bitcoin, Polkadot, and Cardano. This is one of the reasons we tell you to do so. And we'll go through the article and comment in the chat, and I will reply periodically here. So this article first shows us a graphic here of Layer 2 scaling solutions on Ethereum. So let's just first start off with what is a Layer 2, right? All blockchains will have multiple layers built on top of them, but the Layer 2 is a collective term for solutions designed to help scale the applications by handling transactions off of the main net, or what's referred to as Layer 1. Now, transaction speeds, they suffer on these main net blockchains when the network is busy, which can make user experience poor for certain types of dApps. And as the network gets busier, with Ethereum, the gas prices increase as transaction senders aim to outbid each other, okay? And remember, Ethereum heads told you that EIP 1559 was going to fix that. No, it's not. Gas prices are still high. So this can make Ethereum very expensive. These solutions are called Layer 2s because they conceptually sit on top of the Ethereum network. So let's just look at the different categories here. You have your roll-ups. Roll-ups are solutions here. I'm going to try to highlight it for you. Roll-ups are solutions that perform transactions, executions outside of the main Ethereum chain, which is the Layer 1, but they post the transaction data back to the Layer 1 main chain. So they kind of bundle up these transactions, hence the word roll up, okay? They roll up these transactions from their chains, and then they send them back to the Ethereum Layer 2 in a bundled state, and that state is called a proof, more accurately snarks. Okay, and there's two different type of roll-ups. There's your ZK roll-ups and then your Optimism roll-ups. If you follow Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, on Twitter, you know that he's very pro roll-up with his, I think he released a blog post not too long ago. It was entitled A Roll-Up-Centric Ethereum Roadmap. And if we look here, we see Optimism. So if you fairly familiar with the Ethereum chain, you should have heard Optimism before. and actually not listed on here. This article is kind of dated, but another project called Arbitrum. Arbitrum is also a roll-up project, and recently that went offline. But anyway, I digress. Optimism and Arbitrum, they are two of the leading optimistic roll-up solutions, but the former, Arbitrum, is being integrated by the two leading dApps right now, Uniswap and also Synthetics. Let's move on to this second category here. The second most popular second layer solution on Ethereum is Plasm, okay? So a Plasm is a separate blockchain that is anchored to the main Ethereum chain, and it uses these fraud proofs, similar to optimistic rollups, but they arbitrate these disputes, okay? So instead of having every transaction processed on the Ethereum network, some transactions can be triaged and offloaded onto multiple child chains, okay? So when we look at the category of Plasm, what's one that should come to mind? Right here, Matic, right? Polygon Matic. If you've been following this channel, you've heard of Polygon Matic. It is one of these Plasma second layer solutions. It's an example of the Plasma implementation. And actually, I'm a big fan of this solution because they've done so much legwork on the GTM side to win over two large dApps. You've probably heard of them, Curve and Aave, right? Okay, let's move on to this third category of second layer solutions, and I'm just going to give you an overview and keep it brief here. It's the side channels, state channels, I'm sorry. And these state channels, they're going to utilize multi-sig contracts to enable participants to transact quickly and freely off-chain, and then they settle the finality with the mainnet. So again, just a different project there of categories. Then you have your side chains here. XDAI is one. Side chains, they're really just a fork of Ethereum, and it's a fork of Ethereum, but an independent EVM compatible blockchain. So they kind of run parallel to the Ethereum main chain, okay? And these are compatible with Ethereum via two-way bridges. Finally, you have your hybrid solutions and then the Validium. But, you know, no one scaling solution for Ethereum is going to be enough to fulfill Ethereum 2.0's vision. But let's just jump into the article here, okay? As always, this article is made for educational purposes. This does not constitute financial advice nor trading advice. Past performance does not indicate future results. That's very true. So do not invest more than you can afford to lose, and this is not financial advice. Always do your own research. So again, this article is dated. It was released in April of this year, but out of all of the articles that I've read that kind of explains the composability issue for second layer solution, this is probably one of the best. So I'm just going to jump in. He says, 2 days ago, I cheekily stated that layer 2 solutions will save Ethereum. He says layer 2s will save Ethereum. Layer 2 scaling solutions have come to save the day for these terrible gas fees, with the hope that their rollouts will solve the network congestion issue forever. Since Ethereum has been suffering from high gas fees due to an overload of its network, specifically due to the NFT transactions, right? Many have claimed that layer 2s will be the end-all, be-all, the silver bullet that fixes Ethereum's pesky gas fees forever. Frankly, as of until a few weeks ago, I thought that as well. That once layer 2s hit critical mass of the transactions on Ethereum, Ethereum will be the absolute perfect crypto platform. But as I started digging deeper into the layer 2 solutions and started participating more in the in-depth conversation around layer 2s on Twitter and Discord, I started to realize that, quote, he says, while layer 2s are much needed and logical solution to scaling Ethereum, they come with their own question marks and potential issues that may hinder the platform for reaching its true vision of the world's supercomputer. He says, with that said, Layer 2s are absolutely still a step in the right direction, and they are needed even with the eventual merge of ETH2 later this year, supposedly. The throughput and speed that they offer cannot be done purely on Ethereum 2.0's Layer 1 network. Okay, let me repeat that to you. The throughput and speed that they offer cannot be done purely on Ethereum 2.0's Layer 1 network, but they are far from perfect. Maybe that's why, why there's a way, just so many solutions to scaling Ethereum. You have the side chains, child chains, payment channels, roll up, the list goes on. Here are some of the potential issues, unanswered questions that I have seen from the current layer 2 solutions. And he goes into this composability issue. So let's talk about that. So limited composability. Yesterday I talked about how the true power of decentralized finance was composability, arising from open source nature of technology. He says, personally, I think that composability is the most powerful aspect of DeFi. So let's look up composability. What is composability? Let's see here. And I'm going to go to the handy dandy Wikipedia, if this does load for me. Okay. Composability here. Okay. Composability is a system design principle that deals with the inner relationships of components. A highly composable system provides components that can be selected and assembled in various combinations to satisfy specific user requirements. So that's a very technical definition, but let's kind of just break it down in a sense here, okay? So even though that's a very technical sentence, a composable system, okay, is one that is formed by parts that can interoperate with one another. So think of Legos, right? Legos, they're different parts of a system, but they're interoperable though, right? You can build on top of them. You can stack on top of them. Okay, these parts can openly communicate with one another across different systems and thus can be swapped in and out. So let's kind of go back to the article, and he explains why this is important, and I may go into a little bit more detail for you here. So he says, yes, open finance is great, allowing for unprecedented access to financial services, something that has excluded nearly 2 billion people in the world from accessing. It's also great that, for the first time since the rise of Web 2.0, individuals are taking back control of their finances, their data, and their possessions from intermediaries like Facebook, banks, etc. But for me, the added layer of composability really takes the cake. It creates brand new, never before seen financial products that change the way we view finances. So let's talk about composability a little bit more and why composability is so important when we're talking about DeFi, okay? Composability to DeFi is the ability for applications and protocols to interact with one another in a permissionless way, meaning that they are constantly talking to one another and leveraging each other's code and therefore each other's utility. So as a result of this open source nature of DeFi, these apps are leveraging one another to create a synergistic effect. Okay, apps can combine and form new forms of financial services never thought possible. So again, back to building on the Lego analogy, and there is a little GIF of a Lego set here. You have Ethereum, the base layer, and then you have second layer solutions, and you have apps using the second layer solution here. Okay, so let's just stay on this Lego thinking here. So building on that analogy, DeFi apps are essentially money Legos, okay? You can pick and choose which DeFi app to combine together to form a brand new financial product, okay? So let's move on to the article. This is key. Unfortunately, composability may be limited are gone completely with the implementation of layer 2s, because layer 2s currently do not interoperate with one another. These Ethereum layer 2s do not communicate with one another. So said another way, dApps on one layer 2 cannot easily communicate with another dApp on another layer 2, and this breaks the power of composability. In layer 1, the mainnet of Ethereum, a single transaction can interact with multiple DeFi protocols to create a brand new financial product, right? But when we are scaling on layer 2 on top of Ethereum, that transaction can only interact with the DeFi protocols that exist on its own chain. So let's go back up to this graphic up here. Let's give an example, right? So right now, if I'm using a dApp on top of a rollup, Optimism, right? My dApp currently cannot communicate with the Polygon network. There's no composability right there. So let's go back down here. He gives us an example. Let's say this. Let's say Aave is only available on Polygon, and Uniswap is only available on Optimism. And this is factually correct, okay, at the time of this writing. We wouldn't be able to compose one transaction that calls both Aave's and Uniswap smart contracts, right? So as a result of this fragmentation, composability is limited, and thus the magic of DeFi is limited drastically. This can be remedied by an interoperable layer like Polygon that's seeking to connect all the layer 2 solutions in a standard framework. So they are working on this, okay? However, it's going to be a long journey to get all the solutions to build according to Polygon standards and platform. Let's talk about liquidity. How does composability affect liquidity on top of the Ethereum blockchain? Because we hear all the time from Ethereum maxis, Ethereum is the largest DeFi platform because of the liquidity. So let's see how this affects their liquidity. Another issue from the fragmentation of dApps on different layer 2 chains is that their associated liquidity is split up as well. Liquidity is incredibly important in a financial market, as it provides a healthy market in which buyers and sellers can meet in an open market and exchange goods without compromising too much on the bid-ask price and without causing crazy volatility in the price, right? The more liquidity we have, the less the slippage is when we're buying and selling these assets. Currently, all liquidity exists on Ethereum, which provides for a healthy and deeply liquid market for all the financial products and tokens on that platform. With the move to layer 2s, we'll see the existing liquidity being split across Ethereum layer 1 and the different scaling solutions, instead of having all the liquidity available on Ethereum. So this is definitely going to affect the liquidity when it comes to layer 2 solutions. And I'll give you an example. Right now, I was an early investor into Tidal Finance. I have quite a bit, and I'm actually staking it right now. But this dApp requires me to stake it on top of Polygon, right? So I had to move my ERC20 token off of the mainnet Ethereum, move it to the second layer solution Polygon, and it removed that liquidity from Ethereum. Okay? You following me so far? Let's keep moving, all right? And we're going to wrap up here, but these are things you need to know. Onboarding and offboarding friction is the next section here. Lastly, because we're approaching an end state of a multi-chain layer 2 world on top of Ethereum, there's going to be serious friction moving between each layer 2 in order to interact with DeFi. We'll likely see a lot of bridges between the layer 2s, so expect to have long onboarding times as we try to move funds between layer 2 chains. Listen to this. Also expect to have multiple accounts, one or more for each layer 2 chain. Keeping track of the funds across those scaling solutions will be a headache from a user interface perspective. Let's say this. Let's say we have Aave on Polygon and we want to swap it for Uni using Uniswap on Optimism. Not only would we have to withdraw our Aave from Polygon back to Ethereum, there's another gas fee. For now, cross layer 2 bridges should be coming. I don't think they're here yet, but they're working on it. We'd also have to move our Aave from Ethereum layer 2 on top of Optimism. So that's another Ethereum gas fee. The withdrawal time for Polygon takes about 15 minutes. He timed it, and I can attest to this. And Optimism hypothetically has a 1 to 2 week onboarding time due to its use of optimistic rollups. Recall, the optimistic rollups have a long onboarding time due to the challenge period to find the fraud in the proofs, right? The snarks. Closing thoughts. Of course, these issues are definitely solvable and probably will be solved shortly after the public release of all the major layer 2 scaling solutions due to the sheer firepower of the Ethereum developer community. And let me just stop right here. You know, and this is why we say on the channel that Polkadot is what Ethereum 2.0 was supposed to be, right? But Gavin Wood, who helped write the code for Solidity, left Ethereum. He was a co-founder of Ethereum, and he went to start Polkadot. And now he developed the substrate language and these bridges that we harp on you all the time, that connectivity and interoperability is the next phase of this whole crypto space, right? And don't take it from me. Let me pull this Twitter. And actually, this is the reason why I decided to come live today, because I actually forgot about this article, but Vitalik reminded me of it. Give it a second as it loads. And again, this was September 2nd of 2021 that he tweeted this. This was, what, 9 days ago? He says, Vitalik now, the founder of Ethereum, says, we need to move NFTs onto the layer 2 ecosystem to cut fees. Duh. However, doing that right requires good cross-rollup portability standards so the ecosystem can avoid getting locked into one particular layer 2. And then he says, I make a cross-rollup portability proposal here, and it's a link to his proposal. So he is admitting that these layer 2s do not communicate or have composability right now. I mean, it's right in front of our faces, right? Let me just wrap up the rest of this article, and I'm going to go to the chat. I do think that we'll eventually see some consolidation in the layer 2 space, where a handful of winners come out on top based on what each technology is good for. Example, one will be good for DEXs, another will be good for payments. My hope is that there will also be a strong interoperable protocol between them in order to maintain composability and liquidity, whether through the Polygon framework or through a robust network of layer 2 to layer 2 bridges, right? That's what Polkadot specializes in, those bridges. Anthony Sassano said it best. You can think of what's happening in the layer 2 ecosystem right now as the adoption and innovation phase, where many different solutions are being tried and tested at once in parallel. Of course, not all of them will succeed over the long term. Ultimately, I don't think there will be just one solution that wins the scalability wars. As I said, each scalability solution comes with its own trade-offs, trust assumptions, and general strengths and weaknesses. Some are really good for payments, some allow for the EVM compatibility, and some offer greater scalability at the cost of decentralization. If you thought this blog post was worth it, give 5 minutes of your time to read it. Please help me by clapping below. And again, this was from OX Jim. This is a very classic article. And again, you know, if you are part of the Cardano community or part of the Polkadot community, our codes are superior, period. They are. I mean, even Ethereum maxis, and Vitalik is telling you this, that layer 2s don't communicate right now. You know, this guy is building on top of Ethereum, and they see several different issues with the layer 2 scaling solutions. So here on this channel, it is our opinion, not financial advice. But by the time Ethereum releases Ethereum 2.0, And by the time all these layer 2 solutions figure out a way to communicate with each other, Cardano is going to surpass them, right? Polkadot is already the more superior code to write on top of and be interoperable, because the chain that's going to win the DeFi race is going to be composable. It's going to be interoperable. And right now, that's not Ethereum, even though they have all of the liquidity and all of the gas fees. Right? Okay, so let me go to the chat here. I'm going to try to catch up. Passive Income says, Ada, OS Crates, hey, what's up, man? Smash that like button for my man Creole. Yes, I appreciate you dropping in. It's always good to see your name. Michael Swain says, Cody on fire. Hey, all of these projects on top of Cardano, they're about to shine, right? I've read somewhere there's already over 40,000 smart contracts on the Cardano platform deployed. Wow, right? It's about to be an explosion. Passive Income says, I'm holding ADA until my grandchildren's grandchildren. Yes, you got the right idea there, because we know where this is going, right? Everything of value is going to be on a blockchain. So now we have to pay attention to see which ones are going to win. And there's not going to be one. Let's go down. Ebro. Hey, Ebro, what's up, man? Ebro says, layer 2s are putting a Band-Aid on an open wound. I appreciate a lot of people have their wealth in ETH and thus need it to succeed. Yes, you are right. You know, Ethereum is the number 2 cryptocurrency in the world right now, and for good reason, because all these other projects were born out of what Ethereum tried to become, aspired to become, right? But one thing, and we tell our community on this channel all the time, do not be emotional with your bags, right? If there was some major flaw in Cardano tomorrow, we would come and tell you about it. If there was some major flaw in the Polkadot ecosystem, we would come and tell you about it tomorrow. So don't be emotional with your bags. Okay? Ebro says, so they'll continue to try to fix a broken system. Oh my gosh. So they'll continue to try to fix a broken system instead of redesigning the main issue, layer 1. Well, Ebro, they're trying to do both at the same time, right? And Vitalik said this in a past interview maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Moving from proof of work to proof of stake is essentially fixing an aircraft while it's in air. So, I mean, if they pull this off, it will be spectacular. I just don't think they have the time. There's too many other projects out there right now that did it right from the start. Passive Income says, with layer 2, maybe Elizabeth Warren will stop hating on crypto. Elizabeth Warren is going to go to the grave hating Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Ebro says some of the layer 2 roll-ups take a week or 2 to be rolled up to the main chain. That's right. That's right. A lot of time they're wasted. Harry Lime, hey, what's up, man? Good to see your name again. How long have they been working on ETH2 since the split in 2016? Yes. This is why I get so frustrated when people were like, where's Shelly? Where's NFTs for Cardano? Where's smart contracts for Cardano? Hey, Cardano beat Ethereum to proof of stake, smart contracts, everything. We've got the full package now, and now we're moving on to Voltaire. So, really Cardano is light years ahead, and we're going to start eating up some of that market cap. Same thing with Polkadot. Ebro says the writer of the article is an ETH shill, so he's going to self-soothe and conclude that layer 2 scalability is still the way forward. I kind of agree with that, Ebro, but right now it's the only way forward for Ethereum, right? How else are they going to scale? Ebro also says, instead of admitting that ETH is broken and the base layer needs fixing, ETH 2.0 does not fix it. You are right. ETH 2.0 will not fix the scalability issues. It'll help with the gas fees, but not with scaling. Ebro says Vitalik has admitted this. Yes, he has. But, that's why you have to be impartial in your judgment and come to this industry without your ego and listen to the people who are building on these chains. Polkadot is already superior, as you said. Yes, it is. Crawford Fortune. That looks like a new name there. He says, dang, 40,000? No way. Yes. 40,000 smart contracts. And I'll try to pull it up here. I'll try to find it for you. But yes, over 40,000 smart contracts have been deployed. And this is what we've been telling these Ethereum people, that all these projects have been working in the background silently in the Cardano ecosystem, waiting for September 12th to deploy their smart contracts. Why? Because these projects have been writing on the Plutus code before it was released. Peer-reviewed research matters, right? Practice matters. Testnet matters. Dr. Crypto says Liquid. Yeah, really excited for that project. I'm going to wrap up the comments here. Ebro says all ETH has is liquidity in the development community, but Substrate will change that forever. Yes. And I will say this. Even if you look at the developer community, I believe ETH is leading in the amount of developers. Last time I checked, I think it was like 25,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was around 25,000 or 2,500 Ethereum developers working on the Ethereum blockchain. But Ebro, if you look at the world and you look at all of the developers in the entire world, I believe last I checked it was over 25 million. So as these developers start to move and transition over to working on the blockchains, this quote-unquote lead of developers Ethereum has, it rounds to zero. It's less than 1% of all of the developers in the world, right? And none of those developers out there use Solidity on a daily basis. They do use Rust, right? They do use Haskell, which is Cardano. Rust is on, oh my God, Rust is Solana, the programming language. Then you have Substrate on Polkadot, which I think is a hybrid of Rust and another language. Ebro says ETH might just end up being a parachain on Polkadot. Yes, it will be. And I also think Cardano will eventually become a parachain on Polkadot. Polkadot is going to be the glue for the entire ecosystem. Crawford Fortune says they have been talking about moving to proof of stake since 2014-ish. And without any clear roadmap, I don't see how it's happening this year. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen. No way. No way Ethereum 2.0 is deployed in December of this year. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit it. So, well, I didn't want to spend too long with you. I think it was about 30 minutes. Thank you for joining. Michelle is going to be live tomorrow. I'm going to try to join her. She has her crypto lounge, and hey, y'all, she's been working on this episode. She has a lot of really great information coming to you as far as NFTs and these augmented reality wearables that's going on right now. A lot of fun stuff going on in the space right now. So definitely tune in tomorrow to the Crypto Lounge. And Michael Swain, Ebro or Ibro? It's Ebro with the E. He is in the Discord and he's very active. So definitely join the Discord in the link below. And thank you for joining me. Again, I'm Creole, one half of Untwisting the Game Crypto, where we discuss all things Bitcoin, Polkadot, and Cardano. And you all have a good night. I'll be here tomorrow. Have a good one. You should not be buying Ethereum right now. Not financial advice. Oh, no, don't buy Ethereum.
She gon' shake it like a red nose. Booty so big, wanna get close. She gon' shake it like a red nose. Titties so big, can't forget those. She gon' shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Oh, no, no. Turn the lights up. Put up on your street last night in that all black caddy. Kissed you on your cheek, then I asked, did you miss your daddy? He It's been a couple days, you've been on my mind, no, in so many ways. So right now I wanna grind on you. And I get the feeling that's the same shit you wanna do. She